Hey, action. Wow, I forgot to close the door. I'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rini. For those of you who are new here, I am Zimbabwean born and raised. Moved to Canada about 4 years ago, and currently I'm in South Africa. I started my YouTube journey, answer some questions that some people had about the process of moving to Canada, how it went for me, so that I could give them advice and all that jazz. If you see me looking to the side, I am so sorry. This is just where my script is. I'm trying so hard. Be sure to watch my first video if you want to know a little bit more about that and what it was like being a Zimbabwean moving to Canada. I am not doing great.
Just act like you're talking to me.
Okay, also please make sure to comment down below with any more questions, feedback, and love. Also share this video if you know people who are in this current journey, who want to know more, or anyone who would want to watch this. Like, just be like, hey, look what Narini is doing. Hi. And welcome to you guys who received it from someone who shared it to you. Let's go. And don't forget to subscribe. Your girl needs some morale to keep these videos going. So yeah, let's get into it. I moved to Canada in 2019, just before COVID. I moved there to do my post-secondary education in a small town. Most people might not know it. It's called Kelowna. It's in British Columbia. They have the University of British Columbia, a campus of the University of British Columbia there, and they also have the Okanagan College, which is the one that I went to for about 3 years. 3 and a little bit years. And so since 2019 till last month 2024, I had been living in Canada, and after graduating I had just been working the part-time jobs that I was working while I was in school. American Eagle was one of them. If you follow my Instagram, you kind of saw a little bit of that. And then I moved to an event space that was really fun, and then I was just like touch with jobs, and it got to the point where I felt as though I was stuck. I was getting too used to the retail jobs, the service jobs, and it started to feel a little bit mundane, you know? And like when you start talking to people, you're like, oh my goodness, am I going through seasonal depression, or do you feel this too? Like even people who have lived in Kelowna for their whole entire some of my friends moved out of Kelowna because they were like, yeah, we don't want to stay in the town that we grew up in. And like, I get that. I didn't even grow up in the town, but when it's a small town, life kind of just gets very repetitive. And like some people older than me even were telling me the same thing. Some people the same age group as me were saying the same thing. And it's just like, you go to work, you go home, you go to work. Oh, it's the weekend. Let's go to that same bar. Hey, let's meet up with the same people. Okay, we're done. Let's go home. Let's go to work. And it's just like that cycle. And then it kind of scared me because I felt like my life wasn't really moving, and I was just stuck in this system of everyday life. And obviously people are different. Some people love that life, some people feel more comfortable in that life, but for me it started scaring me because I thought that I was just gonna get stuck in that and I would never move and my life would just be mundane. So it got to a point where I decided that I am going to leave for my own mental sanity. And so my options were either moving out of Kelowna to a bigger city. My options were Victoria or Calgary. Victoria is slightly bigger than Kelowna, but it gives Kelowna vibes, but just capital city of British Columbia, Kelowna vibes. But it was closer. I didn't want to leave British Columbia, and I didn't want to go further than Alberta because I kind of created my community in Kelowna and I just didn't want to be far away from them. And I do know people in Calgary, I know people in Victoria, so it just felt more comfortable to be in those cities. I didn't want Vancouver because it's very big city, very expensive, very just a fast life. So it would just be Kelowna, just a little bit faster paced, you know. That's why I didn't really want to be in Vancouver, or the total opposite option of both those cities, moving to Victoria or Calgary, was moving back home. Just reset, reboot, just bye-bye. And here we are. Here we are in the motherland, trying to reboot, trying to reset myself, find my purpose, and just feel like me again, you know? And since I've been here, I have had a little bit of like light bulb moment, mental resets. And I think the biggest one is realizing that we go and study these degrees. Basically, we're learning things that we're like, oh, I enjoy psychology. Like personally, I enjoy psychology, I enjoy philosophy, I enjoy da-da-da-da-da, and like you are in that, but like once it comes to actually working those jobs, like I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna do social work, I'm gonna do all that. And then it came to actually putting myself in those shoes of a social worker, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can do that. Like mentally, emotionally, I don't think I'm strong enough to do a job like that. And basically reality just slaps you in the face, and I am currently sitting in my reality check right now. It's not a really nice place to be in. I think the only thing that's making me feel comforted is the fact that I know that I am not going through this alone. I am not the only one who is currently in the situation whereby you graduate, you finish, you are holding your degree, you go into the field of working, whatever it is you studied, and you're like, yikes, I can't find a job. This is not what I wanted. Why am I earning peanuts for something that I had to pay a house mortgage for? You know, like it's just a lot of emotions that you really don't know where to put, and you're just going through what could also be a form of depression because of all these things. And like, yeah, some people have it straightforward where like, okay, I studied medicine, I'm going to be a doctor. Okay, yeah, there's so many people hiring doctors right now. Okay, yeah, doctors earn $1 billion a day, so like, you know, it's easy, right? And then some people are like, okay, yeah, I studied accounting, I'm gonna be an accountant. I studied law, I'm gonna be a lawyer. You know, for some people, yes, it's easy, but like when you study a degree that is not career specified, it's harder to find your ground because you're trying to now find something that exists outside of the 3-4 years that you spent trying to cram and study, mostly cram. So you don't know where you are in life right now, and it just feels scary. It just feels cramped, if I use that word too much. So like if you are in life right now and you're kind of feeling that, oh my goodness, like what is happening, you know, like the same state that I am in, like I've just come to realize that it doesn't help being hard on yourself. It's like the worst thing you can do is just like shoot yourself down. Like you are by yourself in this situation. You need to bring yourself up, you know, you need to like encourage yourself, like, okay, look, Narini, I know this is not what we wanted, but hey, let's look at teaching. I did not, people would be like, oh my gosh, Narini, you'd be such a good teacher, and I'd be like, ew, kids, no. But like now I'm like, I could teach some grade 3 or 4 some history. Like I enjoyed history, so like maybe we could go teach some grade 3 and 4's history, you know? Like you take yourself out of that like high expectation that you've put yourself in, you've boxed yourself in, and then you just come to the surface level where you're like, okay, let's look at the reality of things, let's just try things out, you know? And then you start applying for those jobs. You go into medicine, you're like, oh yeah, I don't like this, let me back away from that. You go into teaching and you're like, okay, maybe I could do this for like a year or 2 while I'm trying to find something else. And then you find something else, and then you start seeing your strengths are in this, and then, you know, and like life kind of just like directs you, you know? And for those who are still studying and you're feeling like scared and nervous, and you're like, oh my goodness, hold up, let me find my line. Like you're trying to find ways to remember everything, and you're like mass learning things, and you're like, I'm not gonna remember all these things. No, you don't remember all those things, let me tell you that right now. And like don't worry, you know, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just like trust the process right now, because like I said, life always has a way of directing you to the path that you're truly meant to be in. And like, if your path is to study psychology and then you are studying psychology and you become a psychologist, then like, round of applause. If you are studying social work and you actually go through with it, like, you know, for those people who happily studied what they wanted to study and completed it, and now they're happily, or not even happy, like confident and comfortable in their career, like, I am happy for you. A part of me envies you, like, honestly. But like, we are all on different journeys, and like, that journey might not be the journey that I was meant to be on. And like, I've just come to accept that, you know what, they are doing great, I am doing the best that I can be doing, and people who are in school will be on that route too, where they will figure out what they're doing, you know. And it's life. And I think this has been the best thing. I need a break, I might start crying. This has been the best thing about coming back home, is that I have settled my mind and I have realized that, hey, it's okay, Narini. It's going to be okay, Narini. Was that a knock?
Yeah, it's a knock. Can you go open?
Thank you guys, honestly, for watching. I'm happy that I first came home before making the huge decision of moving to a different city, because I feel like that would have just made me, why am I so far away now? This is so weird. Yeah, that would have made it a little bit overwhelming for me if I had moved to a bigger city without really like knowing what I'm doing, and then I would have to like find my footing in that big city, you know. But like, coming home really just like answered some of the questions that were just playing in my mind, and it really just helped me to sort of feel at ease and feel like, honestly, life is not about, oh, who's getting where first, or who's completing this and then you have to do that. Like, it's not really just a map that you follow. It's just, you live and you learn, basically. So yeah, I would have been more overwhelmed if I had just gone ahead with moving out of Kelowna and had a serious mental breakdown, even worse than the one that I was having while I was in Kelowna. So, and honestly, I think the hardest part about coming here was when people would ask me personally, oh, why are you taking a step back? Why are you going home? It wouldn't just be like, oh, like, I miss my family, you know, like, you'd feel that there's more to it, but it's not something that you can just explain and be like, I don't know, I just feel like I need to go home. And like, deep inside, you know that something's broken and like it needs to be restored, but you really don't know how to say it to people until like that healing starts and all those layers start peeling away, and you start loving yourself again, and you start getting comfortable with yourself again, and you start loving yourself again. Only then can you start to understand that, oh, I needed to go home to reboot myself, to bring myself to my roots, to feel like me again, to just go through that mental and emotional and spiritual healing, honestly. And like, this video isn't intended to discourage anyone who's trying to move abroad, to learn abroad, to study abroad. It's not intended to scare anyone at all, really. Yes, there are hardships that you encounter when you are abroad and far away from home, but like, don't be scared. Honestly, as much as it takes away from you being away from home, it also gives a lot back, you know. Like, it pushes you to things that you would never encounter if you were just in the comfort of your home. So like, honestly, I could talk about this in a whole nother video, because I am very passionate about people getting outside of their comfort zone and like really trying to find themselves outside of where they were, you know, just basically this whole experience that I've lived through, because I've grown in many different ways, and like, I love myself because of the journey that I've taken. Like, this can be a whole nother video, so if you'd like to hear more about it, just let me know down in the comments again, guys. and then I'll just make a whole nother video. Subscribe, share, stay tuned, and also just help a girl by keeping me accountable for these things, because the hardest part about all of this is just sitting down and getting to record the video, and it's always just a challenge. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Stay tuned to see more of my Cape Town vlogs. Those are really fun and just like less emotional and just heart throbbing for me. They're just like silly, goofy me. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I love you so much. Bye. Mental break.